Forgiveness is realizing that anger and resentment don't serve us well. Who hasn't been hurt by somebody? By what they said or by what they did? We all have. Forgiveness is the key. The Michigan-based Fetzer Institute said that 62% of adult Americans said that they wish they had more forgiveness in their personal lives. And 90% wish that they had more forgiveness in our country. Somebody said, to forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner is you. I was born into a family of 5 children. When the youngest of us, my twin brother and I, were 3, and the oldest was 8, our parents separated. My father was an alcoholic, which produced in my mother a workaholic. My mother taught school all over South Georgia. She loved education. She loved dispensing it, and she loved making sure that her children received it. In fact, she rather insisted on her children receiving it. My mother also loved my father, and she encouraged us along that path as well. I can hear her now. She said, "You love your dad. That's your dad." She said, "What happened between us is between us, but you love your father." My father had a very small financial obligation to his family, a small check that I'm embarrassed to tell you the amount that he was supposed to send to my mother every week, and we rarely saw it. Over the years, resentment started to build in me. When I thought of missed daddy-son moments, there was pain. When I remember my mother having to go to high-interest loan companies to get money for tuition, there was pain. And when I thought of ill-fitting clothes and associated peer abuse, there was pain. Now, we would see our father from time to time over the years, but that did nothing to change how he took care of us. By the time I had turned 28. By the time I had turned 28, my resentment was fully formed. I did not like my father. Fast forward to age 35, he has a stroke. He's in Augusta, we're in Savannah. My sister goes and sees him, doesn't like the surroundings, and convinces my mother to move him here. And we'd go to the nursing home and see him, and there he would be in the wheelchair, listing to one side, affected by the stroke. And out of a twisted mouth, he would say, "I love you, I love you." I looked at my father, and you know what I saw? I saw, oh, if I could do it again. Oh, if I could just do it again. Because he saw that his 5 babies had turned out better than okay. He also saw that they had honored their mother's wishes and never stopped loving him, even if at times they didn't like him. But there I was with my heavyweight resentment, my burdensome resentment that I would later call my hard-headed history, because it wouldn't leave me. One day I had enough. It was just too much. I was in the nursing home in this room. It's the late afternoon. We were losing the light. He was about 6 feet away in a wheelchair, nodding off to sleep. Down the hall, I could hear the noise of pots and pans as they prepared for the evening meal. And it was at that point that I ran right at my hard-headed history. I said to him, just above a whisper, "I love you, old man." It was like the weight of the world lifted from my shoulders. He never heard it. I've come to understand it wasn't for him to hear. It was for me to say. And I've never been the same. At his funeral, it was indeed a day of celebration. A celebration of his life and the life he gave us. Now, that's a nice story, and it's a true story, but it's not the whole truth. The whole truth is that I loved him more than even I knew, and I was never able to say it before that day. So because I forgave my father, I'm in a very good place right now. I am, in fact, a prisoner set free. Now, if you're serious about forgiveness, there are three things to know. First, forgiveness is not for the timid. When you start the process of forgiveness, things like pain and anger and fear even might show up. But you must stay the course. It's so worth it. Research has shown that adults say that when it comes to forgiveness, the offender would have to first apologize and then make changes. Don't you be the one to sidestep the opportunity for forgiveness. When there is unforgiveness, the pain of unforgiveness continues to grow. British author Bernice Angles said this about that. She said, "Pain is peace, yearning to be free." That was a huge takeaway from my adventures in pain with my father. And it's this: the greater the pain, the greater the peace when forgiveness has had its way. Second thing to know: forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. In fact, remembering the offense validates the forgiveness. Listen to me. If you can forgive the offender in your life, remembering the pain and everything around it, if you can still forgive, then the value of forgiveness increases exponentially. I can still see that very small check that my daddy would occasionally send. It's clear in my mind. But for as clear as it is here, I have great peace here. You know why? Of course you know why. Because I forgave my father. Third thing to know: forgiveness is mission critical. We have just got to do it. Just got to do it. Psychiatrist Karen Swartz said there's an enormous physical burden when we are hurt or disappointed. She goes on to say that if we maintain that chronic anger, it puts us into a fight or flight mode, which is incredibly unhealthy. That's the bad news. The good news is that forgiveness lowers stress levels, puts us in a better place. I guess you could say forgiveness is good for you. The Canadian author Nejwa Zebian said it wonderfully when she said, "Today I decided to forgive you. Not because you apologize, and not because you acknowledge the pain you caused me, but because my soul deserves peace." Ladies and gentlemen, the glory point of forgiveness is peace. Forgiveness is a process. Peace is a prize. Many of you in here today are laboring under the same burden of unforgiveness that I did. And I challenge you now to unleash your curiosity where forgiveness is concerned. Ask yourself probing questions that will serve you well. Questions like, how much better will I feel if I forgive? How much more peace can I expect to feel if I forgive? What new and beneficial people may become a part of my life if I forgive? So with that in mind, embrace your forgiveness claim your prize, oh, and go get your peace.